guys, this next video that I'm going to show you has to do with the planned chaos to come. And it's not to scare you. Doesn't have anything. I mean, it's just that you need to plan for it because it's already planned. And it's not from people you think it would be from. It's from deep state. I mean, deep state. So I want you guys to take a listen to it, and you can leave your comments below and let me know what's going on. But before I show this, hey, give us a thumbs up. And if you ain't already subscribed, that helps. And share it. Share the heck out of it. I need to get out there. This needs to get out. I'm new at this, like I said before, and I'm trying to get information that I think is important. But if you have something else, drop me a line, and I'll get whatever you need, whatever you want to know about, and I'll put it up here. What do you think people want to know about? And I'll put it up here. I ain't got no problem. But I appreciate y'all watching, and those of you that support my channel, God bless you, and I hope I can get your continued support. But anyway, let's get into this.
Planned Chaos Doc-Series Part 1 Media. October 15, 2020 by Derek Norse. Share tweet newsletter sign up. We're living in a moment when there is a bombardment of media information. People are confused by the plethora of information. Whom should they believe? Facts are spun to present a particular narrative. Who can be trusted? One thing to remember is that the mainstream media is produced and has largely been broadcast over the years on television. We watch programs. The media use programming to control the narrative and minds. History is written by the victors. What's important to understand is that there is a carefully orchestrated organization behind much, if not all, of the media narrative. It is not random entertainment. From a United States perspective, there has been a consolidation of media, so that there are now only 6 major media corporations. That is quite a narrow lens from which we receive our information. This came about because of the Telecommunications Act of 1996, where media companies consolidated that once numbered over 30,000 independent media outlets from newspapers, local papers, radio, and TV stations.
And I want you guys to know that the stuff that these media, CNN, NBC, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, you got all these media groups that are putting out all this false information. And it's fake news. And it's major fake news. And nobody really calls them out on that except for Donald Trump and his supporters. Everybody else falls in this trap. These networks are ran by deep state, people involved in the deep state. It's mind control. And if you watch these networks for so long, you start to believe everything they say. And it's all wrong. It's been that way since the beginning, and it's worse now that Trump's in there because Trump's an outsider, and they don't like the outsider. They hate the outsider. Remember that. They hate the outsider.
Various news providers used to be held to higher standards, and were often kept in check by libel or slander suits, and a more informed public. The 1996 Telecommunications Act was designed to usher in competition to telephony and cable by breaking down the cross-entry barriers that were put in place by the Communication Act of 1984. Yet immediately after the passage of the 1996 Act, telecommunication industries witnessed a deluge of mega mergers and acquisitions. The impact of the Telecommunications Act of 1996 in the broadband age. Han Long Fu, David J. Atke, Yi Mao. Department of Communications Sciences, University of Connecticut, Stores, Connecticut. This Telecommunications Act changed those standards, and the effect is what we see now. The news transformed from reporting just the facts to a presentation style based on opinion or focused on its entertainment value. Whereas the media used to be known as the Fourth Estate public fact-checkers on Congress, judicial and executive branches, it became a way to control the public message. And with social media as an even larger influence, we're currently seeing a vast amount of control in the hands of only a few platforms, where users are subjected to constant censorship. But we live in a free and open society. That is the illusion. Right now, high-powered organizations own large media conglomerates, and that scenario leads to the media parroting each other, also known as mockingbird media, as seen in this Sinclair Media Group coordinated broadcast warning on the dangers of alternative news outlets. The notion of fake news certainly isn't new. One of the greatest movers of all time, Citizen Kane, shows how powerful one media organization can become. This has always been the case around the world. Based on the real Spanish-American War, where news tycoon William Randolph Hearst infamously told Teddy Roosevelt, "You furnish the pictures, and I'll give you a war." Media pundits, through the use of their newspapers, act to create the narrative that the highest bidder wants. It's not new that media use propaganda to sway public opinion to get people agreeable to enter a war. This becomes dangerous when news media outlets are consolidated, and all the main news anchors and news producers are part of the establishment. Here are some examples. Did you know that MSNBC's news chief foreign affairs and senior Washington correspondent Andrea Mitchell is married to former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan? Or that Anderson Cooper is the son of Gloria Vanderbilt and a former CIA intern? The Vanderbilt family made their fortune as one of the richest families in the U.S. through their railroad empires. They lived like royalty at their Biltmore estate. Do you think they have the same financial and political views that you do? As George Carlin said, "It's a big club, and you ain't in it." One of CNN's chief news shapers is David Axelrod. You'll be seeing a lot of him this election season. Pay attention to how he is revered by his associates. He's often in their ear, directing their questions and guiding the narrative. He's what could be considered as a handler. Speaking of railroad tycoons, it's important to note the late tycoon Cecil Rhodes. Rhodes was the ultimate racist. He was also a Vanderbilt contemporary. He was a British railroad tycoon whose railroad empire stretched across the African continent. He did a lot to enslave Africa and expanded the British Empire. So much so that one country that he controlled used to bear his name. The country was Rhodesia. The country is now once again called Zimbabwe. His racist atrocities went so far that he pillaged the land. What did he gain? Blood, diamonds, railroads, colonial expansion, oil, slavery, all for the benefit of the mighty British Empire. But he didn't just exploit the continent of Africa, his reign of conquest was for crown and country. His racist policy of "the ends justify the means" endures until today, though his endowment to Oxford University via the Rhodes Scholarship that bears his name. This scholarship is awarded to those who might follow in the footsteps of his ultimate goal of returning the colonies back to the crown. This may sound crazy, but it's well documented. His well-calculated strategies to accomplish this were to train candidates in subversive tactics, and to defy any laws that created an impediment to the ultimate goal. He created not only the scholarship, but also the secretive British Round Table and Club of Rome, and was the inspiration for the Council on Foreign Relations. We use him as an example, Because there's a conflict of interest of mingling private policy and public media all the time. One devout Rhodes Scholar is MSNBC's Rachel Maddow. Another is George Stephanopoulos. Also Pete Buttigieg, Cory Booker, Susan Rice and Bill Clinton. Remember the big club. It's important to note that subversion and infiltration is subtle, so you need to know their strategy and what motivates it. We'll cover this more in depth in other episodes. But remember, the elite, the 2% who control the 89%, don't share the concerns of the 98%. They think of themselves as better than us and consider us slaves and property. Who are today's Cecil Rhodes? Many follow in his footsteps. How about Jeff Bezos? He owns the Washington Post, who along with the ultra-rich Arx family who own the New York Times, shape public opinion. Do you think they use their newspapers and news stories to stack the deck with articles and op-eds that support their political and financial views? You bet they do. Is this openly publicized policy? No. But, how hard is it to at these papers and dictate the direction of the news? This is called manufacturing consent by Noam Chomsky. We know that newspapers and news stations around the world are stacked with bias. In the US, this came about because of the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which changed the rules on libel. It's much harder to bring about lawsuits as a result, as news can be considered entertainment. And with Section 230 of the Act, publishers aren't held liable. But lately, there's been lots of talk about changing the wording of Section 230 to bring it up to date with online social media platforms. Proving the point is the case of Covington High School student Nick Sandman, who you remember was slandered when he was bullied by papers around the country for wearing his red MAGA hat. Though liberal media won points on public opinion, Sandman settled a $250 million defamation lawsuit against the Washington Post, and also settled with CNN for an undisclosed sum. How many times in recent history has the media lied to us? Their job isn't to tell the truth, but to protect their ownership class. Nazi Minister of Propaganda Joseph Goebbels said, "Tell a big enough lie over and over again, and people will eventually believe that it's the truth." Manufacturing consent is a tactic of control. Mainstream media have been monumentally wrong about the most repeated stories on their airwaves. But that doesn't stop them from repeating them. Here are some examples. Hillary was supposed to win by 95%. Trump was a Russian colluder. The Mueller probe was going to bring down President Trump. Adam Schiff had overwhelming evidence to impeach President Trump. Trump was going to bomb the world.
And I just want you to let y'all know that Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Jerry Nadler, Chuck Schumer, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and there's a few other ones that's all involved in this scheme. Don't think for 1 minute they're innocent, because they're not. They're all involved in it. They're all in a big old cabal. They're involved in it. They're a member of the cabal, and they're going to try to take you down. They want you on your knees, begging them for food, clothing, whatever it is that you need for your life. They want you on your knees begging them for it. And that's the Democrat Party for you. It's an evil, sadistic Satan. The father of them all is Satan, and they're his children. And if you don't believe that, if you think this is all just a myth, well, you're sadly mistaken, because it's real, and they are going to try to take this country down. They don't want America to be free. They don't want America to be the envy of the world. They want it on its knees, begging. And that's what's happening. And this is end time predictions.
World. How did those stories turn out? And furthermore, what stories have been missing from the mainstream media that those on the alternative media are well aware of? Where's the coverage been on human trafficking? Where's the coverage been on black crimes? Or black on white crimes? Why has no one asked the president who Q is?
And this is blacks killed by whites is 2%. Blacks killed by police, 1%. Whites killed by police, 3%. Whites killed by whites, 16%. Whites killed by blacks, 81%. Blacks killed by blacks, 97%. And if you think Black Lives Matter wasn't invented by the Democrat Party, you're wrong. It was, and it's there to take down the president. He's an outsider. He's trying to squash the deep state, the cabal. And he's bringing all this to light, and they don't like it. They want him out. And as far as Q, why does President Trump have to know Q? He don't. QAnon is his own person. He's predicting things. That's all.
Where are the voices of those who know of child abuse? It's an 800,000 child a year question. And billion-dollar industry. Why has the media organized against COVID stories like hydroxychloroquine and zinc or natural preventatives like vitamin C, D, fresh air and sunshine? Especially in the face of overwhelming evidence from physicians. Why is there a concerted effort to censor independent journalists? Could it be that people are finally seeing the news media for what it really is, a propaganda machine?
Yep.
Why does it resonate with so many people when they are called the fake news? Why are mainstream media viewership numbers plummeting?
And they are. Trust in the news media to do what's right is plummeted. Always 10%. Most of the time, 33%. Some of the time, 45% are trusted. And 11% never trust them. So you can see it's starting to go down. It's getting worse from the news media. These people are liars. They work for the cabal. Don't forget that. They work for the cabal and deep state. Their agenda is all they're trying to show you. They're not showing you the truth. They hide that behind the screen.
Why are citizen journalists on the internet gaining so many viewers? Why are audiences turning away from the mainstream media? If they were doing real journalism in the face of a pandemic, wouldn't an inquisitive journalist be able to follow a lead and report on possible cures, instead of being silenced? This series will ask these types of questions that at the very least we need to consider. Researching is an intelligent pursuit. Seeking truth is necessary. Exploring different avenues and narratives is an intellectual imperative, if only to debunk a theory. Theories in themselves are good things. Einstein theorized on relativity until he could prove it. Newton theorized on gravity until he had his equation. From questioning things comes enlightenment, and is the basis of scientific method. Let's quickly look at how the media operates, by taking a look behind the curtain. Here are their rules. 1. Lying by omission. What isn't being shown on nightly news is generally more important than what is. 2. Control the debate. Who is arguing, and for what cause? Most commentators are vetted with accepted points of view. 3. Newscasters are groomed to play the game. Getting a network anchor spot isn't achieved by merit alone, but by which narrative you will support. There are only 6 corporations that own all media outlets. They protect themselves. 4. Scripting and synchronizing. The news anchors often read the news verbatim from city to city, station to station. What? They don't have journalists anymore. Not so much. Just people who read the news that look good on TV and get paid very well to do it. 5. Politicize everything. Everything is calculated to further the controller's divide and conquer tactics. Conservatives versus liberals. Democrats versus Republicans. Right-wingers versus left-wingers. Left versus right. Whites versus blacks. 6. Label everyone. No one is a human being anymore. Now, everyone is a label.
And you are a label. And they're labeling you as bad. And they want you under their control. They're trying to cause a race war, and I'm afraid we're falling right into it. They invented Black Lives Matter for one purpose: to cause chaos, destruction, anger, and race divide. That's all it was invented for. And Antifa just happened to show up and help the cause. And Antifa is another one that's invented by this leftist deranged group in the Democrat Party. And they're all being paid by a couple people, George Soros and the World Bank, who supplies them the money for their buses, their equipment, weapons, whatever they need. Just remember that, guys. It's going to get bad.
Label. You are a conspiracy theorist if you question the official narrative. Remember Bernie the socialist, Trump the reality show actor, Clinton the first woman presidential candidate. Sleepy Joe Biden. 6. Ask the wrong questions and answer questions that weren't asked. Have an interview on current topics, but ask irrelevant questions and get into an argument while avoiding any real issues. 7. Closing the book too soon. The jury may still be out on an issue, but the media makes up its mind as soon as they can to fit their narrative. 8. Triviality and distraction, aka fear porn. How many times is something escalated?
And something else I want to tell you about the news. They will run a story so long until you start to believe it. They'll tell a lie for so long on the same thing that you start to believe it if you keep watching it. And it's mind control, guys. They're feeding you their narrative, what they want you to hear. And if they beat that in your head for days and days and days, you start to believe that. And then you forget the truth. You're blinded by the lies. And the truth is out there, but you can't reach it because they got you in a stronghold. Remember that. This media will beat it down so much that you start to believe their lies. And they do it through all their medias. They preach the same thing. And if you switch the channel, it's there. If you switch it to another channel, it's there. And then you start believing everything. And now you have to depend on social media for the truth. And pretty soon that's going to stop because they're trying to stop it now. And that's why it's important that if you see something on social media, to get in there and read it because it's true. They tell you the truth, most of them.
Escalated to catastrophic levels. If it bleeds, it leads. But does that really affect your life? Not so much directly, but indirectly, you will worry. During George W. Bush's presidency, there was a banner on television every day called the Terror Alert Level, programming people to live in fear for the day at a prescribed level, otherwise known as predictive programming. 9. Outright lying. When all else fails, just make it up. There will be another network anchor to back you up. 10. Attack. Attack your point of view isn't so good. Accuse your opponent of what you would do or have done. These lines of attack show just how the attacker might think. Give your opposition a label such as conspiracy theorists, or say they are crazy to make them look bad. 11. Wear em out, outlast your opponent. Now what is the objective? Simple: propaganda. There's always more to the story, as we'll try to show you. We bring this up because we are in a blitzkrieg of informational warfare. Simple as that. We are at war. The war is for your consent. The war is for control of what the elite-owned media and their financial elite budders desire. Their aims are the same as Cecil Rhodes over a century ago: control over the slaves. As one observant poster said, "I'd rather get incorrect information from an honest person with good intentions than evil information from a source with bad intentions." So get ready to dive into deep information. Bring an open mind. Truth has a resonance. You'll learn a new perspective to challenge the narrative. We are Prepare for Change have been reporting and presenting this information for almost a decade. We gather the information from high-level sources and have thousands of articles online at prepareforchange.net. Our site isn't for everyone. It is intended to help those who question the narrative or want to explore history or challenge the mainstream. We are often paddling our boat up that mainstream. But due to the many hundreds of great writers who've lost their jobs in the media consolidation, the information is out there. The truth is best hidden in plain sight. We strive to show you how to sort through it. With a sound basis in history and through whistleblowers, intelligence agents, and reporters who sometimes make the ultimate sacrifice, we have tons of support to stand on. The time is critical to make this series that will bring together the methods, the actors, the religious beliefs, and the stories to put a spotlight on darkness and provide some sense from the planned chaos. Find other support articles at Prepare for Change. Many thanks to the Prepare for Change.
Well, that's a good article. If you really listened to it, if you stayed for it all. It's a really good article. It's true. They are planning chaos, and they're planning to take you down, take us down. They don't want us to know the truth. They're trying to hide it. They hide it in the media. But the truth is, the elite, they want you on your knees. The cabal, the deep state, they want you on your knees under their control. They don't want America to be free no more. They want it under control. And it's going to be under control by, well, I'm just telling you, Britain, England. They want these colonies back. They have since the beginning, and they're sneaky, and they know how to sneak this stuff in there. And the elite's controlling it. The elite don't want you to be free. They want you on your knees. They want you begging them for everything you need, from toothpaste all the way down to toilet paper. You know, they want you to beg them for everything. And it's going to be that way if you don't stand up, America. And I know you guys are out there, and I know you're listening to some of it, but if you listen to this all the way through, you would understand it. But you have to listen to it good, maybe twice. I don't know, but I want you to do me a favor and share this article. Get it out there. Go to this site, get more information, get it out there. Do what you have to do. Do your part in saving America. I thank you guys, and I appreciate if you'd hit that like button down below and share it. Subscribe if you haven't. Most importantly is share this. Get it out there. It gets me in the algorithm. And hit that like button. And if you're a supporter of my channel, God bless you. I really appreciate it. Your help goes a long way. Thank you, and God bless.